Welcome, traveler. Come on in. Gather near the fire. Tonight's explainer isn't just some dry breakdown of facts. No, we're actually doing an unearthing here. We're going to peel back the ancient, crumbling layers of a weathered palimpsest to reveal this dark, mystical history of the soul. It's really a Fichtian journey of the ego, crossing the great abyss to posit its own reality. So lean in, because this is forbidden wisdom.
Tell me, have you ever stood trembling at the very edge of the gasping abgrund? You know, the absolute void? Well, listen closely, because we are about to map out the profound secret of transmutation. We're looking at how a quiet, detached observer, someone who's just a mere product of their environment, actually transforms into a sovereign creator of their own existence. It's wild. Section 1. The Detached Wanderer's Discovery.
So, our dark fable really begins with a thesis of the self. Just picture a passive philologist, right? A scholar wandering among these Gothic ruins, basically treating philosophy as an objective museum. But as he starts scraping away the surface ink of dogmatic morality, he uncovers something completely different, a grammar of human fear, and the surprising truth of ancient philology. The word good originally just meant wealthy or powerful. It was literally the noble masters describing themselves. And evil, that was merely a forgotten dialect invented way later by the weak, basically out of bitter resentment. Crazy, right? And right beneath that sterile, completely safe logic of the herd lies this massive, primal truth, the will to power. It is the underlying drive of all life to expand, to dominate, and to shape reality. All those moral scripts we just blindly follow, they're really just shadows covering up this ancient, terrifying, and totally vital drive. Section 2. The Syntactic Will to Power.
Okay, so here is where the antithesis emerges. The wanderer suddenly realizes that language isn't neutral. It's a chaotic clash of competing drives. To actually evolve beyond good and evil, you've got to act. You have to toss out that soft observation lens and pick up a chisel. You can't just read the text anymore. You literally have to force your own interpretation onto the parchment and destroy those illusions of absolute morality. You are the ego, carving your own truth right into the dark.
Section 3. Crossing the Great Abyss. We're stepping right into the great noon of the world's decay now. Behold the man, a bridge that is neither beast nor overman, but a mere transition toward the unknown. In our fable, you can hear the mocking voice of the sentinel echoing from the darkness, just sneering at our animal shame and the terrifying vulnerability of this whole transition. But here's the thing. Man is something that absolutely must be overcome. Stepping forward is this incredibly dangerous crossing between the animal heart and the stars. And sure, the herd below watches safely from the mud, completely terrified of the heights. But the seeker? He steps forward anyway, because he knows that standing still on that rope is, ironically, the fastest way to become one of the monsters waiting in the abyss below.
Section 4. Alchemy of Meaningless Suffering.
Now imagine you're deep within a lightless thicket, and the seeker is clutching a bleeding wound. He's encountering the true poison of existence, and it's not the physical pain itself, but the sheer, isolating meaninglessness of it. From the shadows of the world tree, the red spirit whispers, "There are no facts here, only the interpretations of your own agony." There's absolutely no external comfort, no pre-written destiny to save you.
So what does he do? Well, the seeker must become an alchemist. A great lie, a self-authored myth, is far more beautiful and, honestly, way more vital for life to flourish than some cold, sterile reality. He has to take the raw, bleeding clay of his own history and transmute it. He's authoring a grand purpose straight out of the absolute chaos within his broken spirit. Section 5. Birth of the Dancing Star. As those sterile walls of logic finally crumble within the mind, a real storm brews beneath the seeker's skin. The sage proclaims, one must have this chaos to give birth to a dancing star. You literally have to abandon the stagnant, safe waters of the herd and instead find your highest image right in the burning fever of the dance. You have to abandon the stillness of the herd. You have to fully embrace the agonizing labor of self-overcoming. Move your limbs in a sacred geometry of fire and just blind the watchers down in the mud. Completely ignoring the sentinel who sneers at the rhythm of the blood, the seeker just dances over the abyss. He's taking all that internal discord and transforming it into blinding light. Section 6. The Sovereign of Amor Fati. At the terminal end of time, the ultimate synthesis is finally achieved. Amor Fati.
It is the unyielding formula for greatness, and what it requires is for you to embrace the absolute totality of your own dark history without seeking to change a single heartbeat. You don't just tolerate your suffering anymore, you fiercely love it, because it forged the very chisel you're holding right now.
Facing the unblinking sun of the great noon, the seeker declares his absolute yay to the universe. He says, I want nothing other than it is, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This is it, the ultimate transmutation. It's saying a resounding yes to the eternal recurrence of the abyss itself.
And in that exact moment of absolute acceptance, he laughs. The rope just vanishes beneath him. The overman is born. He casts the shadow of the passive wanderer forward, not as some nostalgic memory, but as a literal blueprint for a new nobility that writes its own laws. He is completely transmuted into a sovereign value creator, translating humanity back into nature, floating exactly where he once trembled. And so, fellow traveler, as the embers of our fires start to burn low, the shadow of the wanderer is cast right into your future. As you stand before your own unwritten parchment, staring out into your own empty void, what myth will your chisel carve into the darkness?